Cougar versus spotted hyena. Who would win? We're going to call it the Atlantic battle because our two fighters are on separate sides of the Atlantic Ocean. On one side of the Atlantic, we have the cougar. On the other side of the Atlantic, we have the spotted hyena. Two ferocious animals in their own respect, feared in their own territories, but never have they ever come across one another in modern times. What would happen if they did? Who would emerge victorious? The cougar. We're going to start west of the Atlantic and meet our first fighter, the cougar. They're also known as mountain lions, pumas, or catamounts. They're all the same animal, and that animal is one big feline. The cougar is one of the planet's 7 big cats, and it's one of 2 big cats located in the Americas, along with the jaguar. Like the jaguar, you'll find the cougar in South America and Central America, countries like Guatemala, Venezuela, and Brazil. In fact, cougars have the widest range of any land mammal in the Western Hemisphere. They're extremely adaptable predators, as they're also found in North America, whether that be in the semi-arid regions of Southern California and Arizona, or in swamplands in Florida, or even all the way north in Canada. Cougars can adapt to many habitats, and they'll thrive whether it's warm or cold, wet or dry. That makes them extremely deadly. Another reason why they're deadly, well, just look at the size of them. Cougars may have the coloring as a cute little house cat, but they're vastly different in size and cuteness. The cougar's average size has it marked as the 4th largest feline in the world, after the tiger, the lion, and the jaguar. They're typically between 3.5 and 6 feet long, weighing between 120 and 160 pounds. Often enough, cougars can exceed 7 feet in length and tip the scales at 200 pounds. They stand 2 to 3 feet tall at the shoulders, and they're extremely muscular cats, powerful, fast, and agile. When they're on rocky terrain, mountains and such, they're excellent at traversing these areas. If they need to jump to a higher area, they do so with ease, able to leap 15 feet into the air. If a cougar finds himself in an open area, especially when hunting prey, he can hit speeds of 40 and even 50 miles per hour in short bursts. When they settle on an animal to attack, you can just about pencil that one in. It's a done deal. Cougars take down animals much larger than themselves, sometimes twice or close to 3 times their size. They hunt deer, bighorn sheep, mountain goats, elk, and even moose. But cougars are nothing if not adaptable. If there are only smaller animals present, then they have no problem feasting on birds, rodents, and any other animals that look tasty. The problem is, most animals won't see the cougar when it's decided it's going to make a meal of them. Sometimes they sprint after animals, giving chase to deer or elk, and then eventually taking them down. But they often like to stay hidden until the last minute, jumping onto the back of the animal and taking them down while they sink their jaws into their prey. Another scary thing to note about the cougar, they have a bite force of 750 psi. That's stronger than a lion's bite, nothing to mess around with. Cougars have claws that range 1.5 to 2 inches long, which are also retractable. When you find cougar prints in the ground, you usually won't find claw marks because of this. But when these powerful cats land on their prey or any opponent, they can dig those claws right in, and it won't be a pleasant experience. Another interesting fact about the cougar, it actually doesn't roar. It can purr, and they make a variety of other sounds, including a horrifying scream that many hikers have heard and have mistaken it for a human in distress, or even a ghost. That is why this feline of many names has one other popular name, ghost cat. So, how will the ghost cat stack up against his opponent? The spotted hyena. So, we have a member of the feline family in this battle. Where does our other fighter hail from? Well, we're talking about the spotted hyena, and many people have noticed the similarities between hyenas and felines. And though there are many, hyenas are not cats. But when you look at a hyena, they look so much more dog-like, don't they? And they behave like canines in some ways, but not all. No, hyenas are not canines either. Hyenas are their own class, and there are 4 hyenas within the family. The aardwolf, which is the smallest of them all. There is also the brown hyena and the striped hyena, and then our contestant, the spotted hyena, the largest hyena in the world. Spotted hyenas tend to be about 3 feet to 5.5 feet long, standing 2 to 3 feet high at the shoulder. They tend to weigh anywhere between 100 and 150 pounds, but there have been plenty of spotted hyenas that clock in at 180 pounds. Spotted hyenas are stockily built with a good deal of power. These powerful animals travel and hunt in packs, the packs ranging in size and sometimes having a couple dozen hyenas in them. That's opposite the cougar, who is a solitary animal, quite used to being alone. Speaking of the opposite, where exactly does our spotted hyena live? For one, he is on the opposite side of the Atlantic Ocean, strictly on the continent of Africa. You can find hyenas in many places of sub-Saharan Africa, from countries like Guinea and Mali in the west, to countries like Ethiopia and Somalia in the east, and to countries like Angola and Namibia in the south. Spotted hyenas live in habitats like grasslands, forest edges, sub-deserts, woodlands, savannas, and even sometimes in mountainous regions. However, their habitat range, though wide through much of Africa, specifically avoids the tropical rainforests. Spotted hyenas are pack hunters, and just like cougars, they like to take down animals that are larger than them so they can get a nice big meal. They'll go after wildebeest, zebras, and if they're in a smaller pack, they pick on animals that are slightly smaller, like gazelles and impalas. One way that hyenas are different from felines and more similar to canines is what we just mentioned. They hunt in packs. The other one to note, they have excellent endurance. Spotted hyenas can hit speeds of 40 miles per hour, just like a cougar, but they can keep that speed up for long distances without tiring. They also have great hearing and eyesight, so if they need to hunt at night, no problem. That's an easy job for the spotted hyena. A pack of hyenas will work together to take down an animal, and their secret weapon is their bite. A bite stronger than a cougar's, stronger than a black bear's, stronger than a tiger's. Using known data and data that can lend itself to educated estimates, it is believed that the spotted hyena has the 13th strongest bite on the planet. Top 15 isn't that bad. It's a bite force of 1100 psi. They don't call spotted hyenas bone crushers for nothing. Their strong jaws and teeth built to grind and cut allow them to break through bone, tough meat, tendons and hooves. It is, plainly put, a devastating bite. When you look at a hyena, you can tell all the power is in the front half of this animal. Those jaws, yes, of course, but even its head and neck are strongly built. And it has well-developed forequarters that are powerful, although its dimensions make for its hindquarters to be slightly underdeveloped. And hyenas' claws aren't so much sharp as they are short, stout, blunt instruments. They have 4 digits on each foot, and did we mention their feet are webbed? The spotted hyena truly is a unique animal, but how will he be as a fighter when we match him up against the cougar? The Atlantic face-off. It's time for these two warriors to meet face to face and square off, but they've never met before. How will we get these two together when they're separated by an ocean? Well, we have an idea. You've heard of Pangaea? The landmass that all landmasses were once a part of long ago, before splitting apart? Well, we'd like to recreate Pangaea, because if you pushed South America east and pushed Africa west, the two would meet and you'd see they look like they could fit together like two puzzle pieces. What's better is there's a region of Brazil that looks like it would fit in snug next to Angola. Brazil, one home of the cougar, Angola, one home of the spotted hyena. Welcome to Pangaea, everyone, the place that our battle will take place. Now, we know the cougar and spotted hyena are of comparable sizes, but the cougar does have a slight size advantage. It may help him in the long run, but at first it will be unnoticeable. It might come into play if this fight goes extra rounds. We know both of these animals are strong. The cougar may have the edge with overall power, but don't forget about that spotted hyena bite. The hyena definitely has the edge there. Whenever the cougar lands a chomp, it will hurt, but the hyena's bite will hurt even more. It could prove devastating if he is able to sink his teeth deep enough and strike bone. The cougar can hit faster speeds, but only in short bursts. The cougar has the immediate advantage there, but the hyena can outlast him. Advantage back to the hyena. You never know when speed could be a factor. If the two are scoping each other out, circling one another, if one gives chase, we know who will last longer. So far, the two seem fairly even. Perhaps the spotted hyena has a few more advantages. You remember before we talked about how adaptable the cougar is. how the cougar lives in a wide range of habitats and spans huge swaths of land. The spotted hyena isn't quite that adaptable. You remember how we mentioned that cougars can change their hunting style no matter the terrain. They can go in an all-out sprint in open areas, they can use trees in the tropical rainforests for cover, and find cover in mountainous areas to hide and pounce at a moment's notice. How about how the cougar can jump so high in the air? How they leap from one area to another with great agility? We didn't mention how far a hyena can jump because no one is sure. There aren't many records of hyenas jumping much at all, let alone great distances. You see, the cougar is more adaptable and a far better hunter. Although the spotted hyena can outrun the cougar for long distances and has a more powerful bite, the cougar has better agility and hunting prowess. One last reason to really believe that statement? We mentioned that the cougar hunts alone. Hyenas hunt in packs. They both take down large animals, but when hyenas are in a smaller pack, they shrink the size of their targets. Spotted hyena packs are great hunting units, but the less of them there are, the less effective they are. They need to hunt in numbers. Now, one spotted hyena alone is still no joke, but maybe he might be a bit of a laugh to a cougar. Because cougars always hunt alone, and they get the job done all by themselves. This is why we give the cougar the advantage in this fight, especially if the terrain the two find themselves in has rocks, bushes, trees, anything of that sort. If we're talking about wide open spaces, the spotted hyena may get his advantage back. That is, if he is able to employ a plan of outrunning the cougar and wearing him down. He'd need to get in close and deliver that fatal blow with his jaws. The hyena will need to fight like a boxer that runs around and dances a lot, using his endurance to tire out his victim, and then going in for the kill shot once the time is right. So, we won't say the spotted hyena has no chance. He clearly has a good chance to win this fight. But our cougar, he is the betting favorite. He is just a better hunter, as he always goes it alone. They say safety in numbers, but in the case of the cougar, the solitary lifestyle has really helped him out in this instance. It's been a big reason he will likely win this battle of the beasts on opposite sides of the Atlantic.